Hello and welcome back to another new mid workout here with Aly Mattoon. So excited. So she's going to, what are we working on, Aly, this time?
Today is all about hips, healthy, happy, strong hips.
Oh, healthy, happy hips. I love that. Okay, well, I'm going to let you take it away, Aly.
Okay, great. Okay, hi, welcome. Aly here with another workout. Today we are going to be focusing on your hips, mobilizing your hips, strengthening your hips, making sure you have strong, healthy, happy, functional hips. You will need a long TheraBand. If you don't have a long TheraBand, grab a long scarf. So while I'm talking right now, you can go grab a long scarf if you don't have that. And then if you have one of these tube-like bands, awesome. If you don't, that's okay too. If you have a long band, we can always tie it around. So whatever you have, we'll make it work. So the first thing we're going to do is a little mobility exercise that I love, where you're sitting in this kind of 90-90 internal and external rotation. If this just feels impossible for you to get into, just make it much smaller. You may have one hip that is very tight. And we're just gonna start to rock over to, so I'm rocking into my outer left hip, and then I'm dropping my right sitting bone down and getting that thigh to turn in. Now for me, this right side is my tighter side in that TFL kind of upper lateral hip area. And so I need to spend more time rolling it out with a tennis ball or a roller, and it helps that. So you can do that too. Inhale, that could be another class, and sinking the thigh bone down. So we're lifting and transferring our weight over to our left outer hip, and then we're turning the thigh in and sinking down. And over time, this will get easier, but it's a really good one to do to get that internal rotation and that thigh sinking down into the socket. Do one more. Very good. Let's go to the other side. Okay, so we're here and we're lifting our hip up and then dropping it down and lifting it up and then dropping it down and lifting it up. Yeah, so you'll find, like, it's so interesting. This side for me is way easier. So again, get out that roller, that tennis ball, and start to roll out that area that feels tight, that's kind of constricting your movements. We'll do two more like this. So we're going to mobilize before we strengthen. And last one. Good. Okay, from here, we're gonna lie down on our backs and we're gonna pull our knees in gently. So all that core work we did in the last workout applies, so the ribs are heavy. And we're just gonna take some circles where we're guiding our femurs around in the base of the hip sockets. And we're just circling around gently. The knees come apart and then the knees come together. And the knees come apart and the knees come together. And the knees separate, should feel good. And then reverse it. And we go down. We're still keeping some core engagement here. The hips for sure. I think, yes, out of everything, we need to spend more time on our hips, just with all the sitting and everything. Okay, cool. So we've done a little mobilization there. Now we're just gonna bring our feet down and we're gonna press down into the arms and we're going to do some bridging. And we're just gonna do a regular bridge and then we're gonna lower down. So we're starting to activate our glutes, right? And down, really important. So activate those glutes, keep your upper back heavy, and exhale up. And we're just hinging down. So we hinge up and then we release down. Exhale, push down into your heels. Inhale, exhale, inhale, heavy upper back, and down. Try to go on vacation like your upper back is on a beach in Hawaii and it's just your pelvis that's doing all the work here. And exhale, and inhale, and exhale. And then we're gonna stay up and hold. We do a little hip dance. We release the left side of the pelvis down, and then we lift it back up, so now your hips are level. You release the right side of the pelvis. Exhale, push down into the heel, your hips are level. Inhale, and exhale. So it's a little dance. We're adding a little rotation there. So you release and then reactivate. Release, reactivate. Release, activate. Release, activate. I'm also feeling a nice kind of massage through the mid side of the back there. The last one. Pause at the top and then roll your spine down. Hopefully your hamstrings are doing okay with that. Just stretch them out for a second. I would suggest doing bridging every day. If it's hard, it should get better. Okay, we're gonna lift back up. You're gonna keep your hips really level, and then we're going to push down into the left heel and float the right leg up to a tabletop as the left arm lifts up, and then we're gonna lower down. So we're gonna do a little march, but I need you to keep your hips level. So there's that. I don't know why I'm always referring to a glass of wine between your hip bones, but whatever it is, try to keep it there. But you can picture it's more of the wine glass. You want it to just sit right between the visual of that glass sitting right between your hip bones, because if you dropped it right now, it would spill right now. We want to keep your hips level. So let's just kind of breathe through this. And down. And down. Hips are level. Push down into the opposite heel. Push down to lift up, right? Push down into the left heel, lift up. Push down into the right heel, lift up. Hold right here, and then roll it down. Awesome. We can start with our feet together. As you lift up, you're going to squeeze your heels together and lift them up, so you're turning your thighs out and wrapping your thighs back. So now your side glutes and rotators are super active. Lower your hips down. Exhale, lift your hips up and lower down. Exhale, lift up and lower down. Exhale, lift up and lower down. Exhale, lift up. Your knees are apart. Your knees come together. Your knees separate. You squeeze your heels. Your knees come back together, pushing down into the arms. Press and down. Squeeze those heels and down. Hold right here. We do the same little dance. Left hip, squeeze your butt. Right hip, squeeze that right cheek. Left and up. Right and up. Left and up. Right, hold there, and just do little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold at 10. Roll your spine down. Very good. Stretch your legs. Yeah, so your butt supports your hips. So you need to work your butt too. Grab your scarf or your band. You're going to reach your leg up. Take the band. Place it around your foot. Really important, so your abdominals on the left side need to be very active, and we want to keep the left hip anchored. You could always bend your knee and keep that foot down just to help stabilize and keep that left side anchored. Okay, so from here we want to sink that thigh bone down deeply into the hip socket to really feel it drop there. Hold it there. Breathe, and then it will probably help to straighten this leg out if you can. We're going to take some circles. So I'd like for you to grab both ends with your right hand, and you can have the other hand on your hip, and we're just going to take a circle where we go up, sinking the thigh down. So I want you to think of kind of sticking your butt out and dropping your sitting bones down so the thigh can sink down deeper as you circle, and you cross the midline, you go over to the side and up. And this is just a nice circular hip circumduction work here. Feels really good. So we go across, and then that left side is anchored again. If you're having a hard time keeping the left hip down, just bring your knee up. And then we reverse it. We'll do about 6. 1 and 2. And left hip stays down. 3. You're guiding it with your arm here. And 4. And 5. Last one. And 6. Awesome. And then from here, we're just going to pull it in a little bit more. Come up onto the ball of your left foot. Turn your left leg out as you open your right leg out to the side of the room. Right? So both legs are opening together. You're keeping your tailbone heavy, which means we're not lifting the pelvis like this, and you're just going to enjoy that little inner thigh abductor stretch. Hold that, and then as you do that, try to sink that thigh down into the hip socket. It doesn't matter where you are. Maybe your leg is much lower than mine, which is fine. And then just relax the leg down. We'll do that on the other side. Okay, so we've got leg up, knee bent if you need it, thigh sinking down. So you can really see on this side where it's not up, you want to drop that femur into the base of the socket there. Hold it, and then we circle across, keeping the right hand on the hip to keep it down, and 2. Again, this is my happier hip. 3, 4, try to even them out. 5, and 6. Breathe and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All that core work applies. Yeah, so this arm's just guiding it. Hopefully, if you have a scarf, it's long enough. And you don't want a very long scarf here. And if you don't have a scarf, just do smaller circles with the leg. Hold it at the top. Sink that thigh down. From here, we're going to come up on the ball of the foot, open. So both legs open out to the side. You're on the ball of your right foot. It's like a little kickstand. Drop your thigh down into the socket and just breathe there. Hold it and breathe. Hold and breathe. Feel good. And then bring it back up. Okay, cool. So now you're going to want to, if you have a band, wrap it around your thighs and make like a tight bow. If you don't have a band and you're using a scarf, don't use anything. I'm going to use my band here. I definitely think this is a great thing to get, just a little green fitness band. You can use it in so many different ways. So I'm going to use that, but again, you use what you have. Okay, so really, really important. We need to strengthen those deep rotators, which are going to support you in standing balancing work, which we will do today. It's been a huge game changer for me and my just my standing balance work and squatting, single leg squat. So we're going to start here. So if you have like a yoga block or something to push into, that's always kind of a nice thing to have. I'm going to lift the bottom side of my waistline, and really important, make sure you're not tucking your pelvis. You want to pull that thigh bone back deeply into your hip socket, okay? So it's like you are sticking your butt out naturally, but you're not overly extending your back. So please find that. And from here, we're just going to do a very easy clamshell, where we're going to turn the thigh out and the leg lifts. You're going to try to melt that thigh bone back into towards the sitting bone. Relax it back in, kind of sink it in deeper, and then go back down. A lot of times we'll see tucked clamshells, which are not going to benefit you as much. So let's do them this way. Exhale, wrap that thigh back. Inhale. You want the head of your femur to be moving and rotating in that hip socket as best as it can. Oh gosh, this is like, exhale. Hold the turn out, wrap that thigh back. Now notice, you want to keep your hips level, so you're not using your pelvis to pull yourself back, right? You want to keep your hips really level. And exhale. So to do this correctly, you're going to hopefully feel a lot more. So that's where I always say, then you can just do 10 really good ones rather than like 100 like so-so ones. And exhale, breathe with me, stay with me. Exhale, I'm suffering with you. No, it's a good pain. It's a good uncomfortability. Good. One more. Hold here, sink that thigh back and relax it. You may need to pound it out for a second. Okay, awesome. So now we lift the leg up and you're using those abductors, which are again going to support you in standing work. We're just going to make some circles. This is a killer. We're just going to do 5, especially with the band. And 4, wait, my counting's off. 3, I'm jumping ahead. 4, and 5, go ahead and reverse it. 1, you're holding your shape as if there was like a paintbrush coming out of your knee and you're making circles, right? Very contained through the hips still. Isolating that glute, pulling that thigh bone back into the socket. Last one. Oh my goodness, and pound it out. Okay, so you're here, your hips are level, and if you need to come up on your hand, you can. So this is like pushing on the reformer foot bar, which I love. You're going to, so notice my thigh, I'm fatiguing, so my thigh's dropping, but I want you to keep your thigh here. So you want to keep pushing up into your band. Let's breathe through this. We're just going to do 7 more. And push through the heels, 7. Now when you extend, your heels should be right under your sitting bone as if you were standing on your leg. And exhale, find your core. Inhale, find your core. Reach through the heel. If you're more comfortable down here, that's fine. It just kind of feels good to be up for a second. And exhale, deepen. And keep that thigh reaching. And push to the heel. And push, smile if it's really burning. Inhale. And exhale, push. And last one, we're going to say that is 10. And you're just going to do little lifts to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, take a rest. Give yourself a little stretch. Awesome. We're going to do that on the other side. Okay. Now come on down. Bottom side, little tone there. But as you exhale, you want to connect deeper. So you know your alignment. You're sitting tall in your imaginary chair. You just flip it onto your side, and we go into our clamshell. 1 and down. Your hips are leveled. 2. We'll flow through it on this side. And 3. I'm going to count. And 4. Melt that thigh bone back. And 5. So we need to find where we can soften. You know, I think as we get older too, we're kind of reframing what exercise is to us and how we can approach it in a way that's going to work for our whole, for our vision, for ourselves and the whole picture holistically. So for me, I'm working on this idea of kind of softening and relaxing. What happens when I kind of relax into it? And I'm not saying let my muscles go to sleep and let my abdominals completely go as I do this, but where can you soften? Where can you release within your good form? Melt the thigh back. Because your body, yeah, will respond to that. All right, I'm pretty sure that's 10. Hold it and relax. Okay, cool. That's what we just need. We need like therapy sessions while we work out. So it makes it, this is a form of therapy. This is. And 2. And it's my therapy. 3. Exhale, 4. And 5. And 6. Circle it around. You've got that paintbrush coming out of your knee and you're making circles. Your bottom leg is working a lot too because it's having to push out in opposition. If you don't have a band, this is still hard. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep the foot flexed. Move your leg in one piece, one lever, circling around, and relax it. You might need to pound it out again. All right. It's just kind of nice to stretch your leg out. If you want to come up, you can. And we're going to inhale. And now your torso isn't changing, so try not to round your back here. Keep everything organized. And it's just, again, hip flexion. Then we go into a little extension. Your leg is, your heel's right under your sitting bone. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And inhale. This is definitely a video you'll want to do over and over. Your hips will definitely get stronger, I promise. And good. Inhale, push through the heel. Inhale, keep that thigh up. So you don't want to let that thigh drop. Just do 3 more. 3. Breathe and 2. One more. Hold it and relax. All right, awesome, very good. Okay, oh, go ahead and come up. So I know you're probably tempted to stretch your hips, your glutes right now. Don't, because I want them to be on, because we're gonna do some standing work now. But before we do that, we're just gonna kind of gradually work up to our standing work. You can take your bands off if you have them on. Okay, so hips. We worked our hip extensors and our bridging. We're now gonna do some standing weight bearing work. So when you do a squat, just do this with me if you're okay to be on your knees. Your back stays in a neutral straight position. You're just hinging back at your hips, and then you come back up, right? And you squeeze your butt at the top. So that's your squat mechanics. Now, if you want to also be aware of your neck here, let's see, I have one hand here on my head, one hand on my sacrum. You want to keep that relationship. So your neck is in line with your spine, right? A lot of times we'll look up in a squat, or we want to keep that, like almost like if you had like a pull going down your back. You could also place your hand behind your head. One hand behind my head, one hand on my sacrum, just to give you that proprioception of where your head is. But the movement's coming from your hips here, right? We're not rounding the back, the movement's coming from your hips. Squeeze to come up. One more. Okay, cool. So we will stand up now. If you don't love squats yet, this is a great time to learn how to start to love them. So try to make it fun. You're standing, right? And you may be in like a tiny bit of turnout depending on your body. We're just gonna have our hands here today. I'll turn to the side. So I do want you to engage your butt at the top. And I'm not saying do this, just engage your butt. And then you're gonna sit back on that imaginary low chair. I always think about this when we were traveling, and those low toilets in those airports. Then you're gonna squeeze your palms together to come up, squeeze your butt. If you had like a block or something to squeeze into, you could, but again, your back is long, and then squeezing to come up. So it's gonna be inhale, exhale, push the floor away, squeeze your butt at the top. Inhale, right? So here you are again, head, really good alignment here. One hand behind your head, maybe one hand on your sacrum. Just to find your alignment. Breathing, inhale down, exhale, power up, push through your heels. Inhale down, good, so we wanna be here, we don't wanna be here, because what if you were picking up something really heavy, right? You want all the work to be in your butt. I'm telling you, this is very functional. Picking up those heavy bags of cat litter is much easier now. Inhale, exhale, push your palms together. You have that. Do 2 more. Inhale, push down, exhale. One more here. Inhale, exhale. Awesome. Okay, this may be a progression. Standing on one leg, you should be, I'm gonna do my right, you should be able to engage your glutes when you stand on your leg. Make sure you're not hyperextending your leg, right? You want it to be straight, but just standing on it. Now, maybe we just have our hands on our hips today. We're gonna try to balance here. We're gonna try to do a single leg squat. You might need to hold on to a wall, which is fine. So I'm gonna place my right hand here just in case you need it. You're gonna stick your butt out. You're gonna keep your hips level. So remember our single leg bridges where I was asking you to keep your hips level? Exhale, come up. So your hips go back, right? Your core is active, your neck is long, and then you're gonna push down into that right center heel, and you're gonna come up and find that strength. Make sure your knee is not rolling in, right? So if there's that band work that we did. So we inhale, and then as you exhale, come up. It's okay if you need to drop your foot down. Just try your best. Inhale, push down into that heel, find the glute. This may take some practice, hand on the wall as needed. Your hips are level. Push into that heel, but this is gonna get your hips so strong. your knees so strong. If your knee doesn't like this today, just make it smaller. Maybe you're just trying to balance on one leg, and that's great. Inhale, there's always an option. There's always something you can do. It's just to learn about your body and what's happening in your body and why things are happening. So I tend to shift my weight to my right hip, so I really have to keep my hips level and push through the center of my heel because I want to like lean too far to my right. So I have to kind of think of keeping my body a little over to my left, but still staying centered on my right heel. So you may have something like that too. Other side. Woo, okay. So standing here, hand on the wall, hips are level. You send your hips back. Eventually, we're going to want to go lower. Exhale. Hand on the wall if you need it. Inhale. Now push down through that center left heel. We're going to count now. That's 2. Inhale. Make sure your knee's tracking. And then push down. 3. Inhale. Push down into that heel. 4. Breathe. Focus. And push down into that heel. 5. We're going for 10. And 6. Right there. Long neck. And 7. Really good. And 8. Squeeze at the top. Find that standing leg. And push down. Get lower. Push from the bottom of your movement. Right? And exhale. Push from the bottom. One more. Push from the bottom. All right. Yes. Gonna keep working on those. Wrap those thighs back. You're gonna be in a little turned out position here. So wrapping the thighs back, and I'm just gonna have you do a turned out squat. So you're like this, little pitched over. We're just gonna do some pulses, kind of deepening those femurs down, and you're pitched over slightly, just to even things out. 5 more, and 5, 4, 3, push those heels down, 2, 1, and then stretch the legs all the way, and again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, push the floor away. Awesome, good. So you've definitely activated your glutes. We're going to lie down, and we're just going to finish with a little stretch for your glute tip area because we did a ton of that. But hopefully it feels nice and active, and it's going to support you. Your hips are going to support you for the rest of the day really well. So we're going to go ahead and just place the right ankle here on top of the thigh. You may just want to be here. If you can easily slide your hands under your thigh, do so. You could also use that scarf and grab the scarf as you wrap it around the underneath your left thigh, and just hold that and breathe. Try to drop your tailbone down and take a nice full breath. Good, and just hold that. Another full breath. You could do a little shift of weight over to your left outer hip. You can roll yourself back, and then we'll switch sides. Okay. So again, this might be where you are. Grab that scarf, and there's always a way. Drop your tail. Breathe. Try not to force it. Again, that idea of kind of softening and melting into your work. And then a little shift over to the right. And then come back to the center. Awesome. And then another great stretch, since we're on the hip train today, it's just an easy psoas hip flexor stretch. You're here, you're okay to be on your knee, and then but when you're stretching, make sure you're still engaging your muscles and not just collapsing into your stretch. You want active right leg, and then you could reach your left arm up and have your right hand on your thigh, or if you have like a yoga block here, you could have your hand on the yoga block or the floor. So just give yourself a little stretch there. And then we'll switch sides. Okay, so just gently pressing forward, right, and lifting up out of it, because flexibility really isn't helpful if you don't have the strength to hold it. There's been a lot of new studies on stretching and just kind of, again, reframing what that is. And, you know, sometimes stretching and stretching and stretching and stretching, you still feel tight. So maybe it's that there's a lack of strength and that's why you're feeling tight. So it's all related. Just enjoy the stretch though if you're here. Awesome. And then come back up. Another nice one to do, and then that's it, is to mobilize your hips. This also would have been good to do in the beginning. And just to make little circles here. It also feels great in your back, but you're just sitting back towards your hips and then coming forward and then reversing it. Just a little circle. And we're going to finish in a child's pose, which is a nice, kind of a nice pelvic floor opener, pelvic opener. Okay, so go ahead and just sit back. Let your head drop. Feel like hopefully your pelvis and your sitting bones can drop towards your heels. If not, you could bring a pillow up between your heels and your butt. And just let your body melt down towards the earth. Breathe. Take another full inhale. And a nice long exhale. Awesome, great job. That was a lot of hip work. My hips feel happier and stronger, and I hope yours do too. Thank you so much.
That was incredible, Aly. That was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how stiff I was. I feel so much better. This is something I could do like every day. What do you gals think? You think you can do this every day with Aly? We'll just keep replaying it.
I think you should, at least once a week for sure.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Aly, so much. We appreciate you being on the new mid, and we will see you again, I'm sure.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.